हम जब इंटीमेट रिलेशनशिप्स की बात करते हैं, चाहे वो फ्रेंडशिप हो, रोमांटिक रिलेशनशिप्स हो या इवन फेमिलियल, हम बॉन्डिंग शब्द का यूज़ करते हैं। बॉन्डिंग यूजुअली प्यार, सिमिलर इंटरेस्ट या एक दूसरे के लिए अच्छा सोचने पे बनता है। But there is a type of bond called trauma bond, which is an emotional attachment that develops out of a repeated cycle of abuse, devaluation and negative reinforcement. इस टर्म को कॉइन किया था पेट्रिक कार्न्स ने 1997 में। कार्न्स एक एडिक्शन थेरेपी थेरेपिस्ट है और इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर ट्रॉमा एंड एडिक्शन प्रोफेशनल्स के फाउंडर भी। Carnes defined trauma bonding as dysfunctional attachments that occur in the presence of danger, shame, or exploitation. And it is considered one of the 9 possible reactions to traumatic situation. Trauma bonding occurs due to the way our brains handle trauma, and that these ways are based on the manners in which we must adapt when we need to survive. Carnes found the 2 most important aspects of trauma: how people respond to its severity and how long it continues. Trauma bonding can occur in any situation of abuse, no matter how long or short an amount of time it lasts. It is most likely to happen in a situation where the abuser makes a point of expressing love to the person they are abusing and where they act as if the abuse will not happen again after each time it does. It's that combination of abuse and positive reinforcement that creates the trauma bond or the feeling of the abused that the abuser isn't at all bad. There are many types of abusive situations in which trauma bonding can occur. Here are some of the most common ones: domestic abuse, incest, kidnapping, sexual abuse, cults, elder abuse and human trafficking. शायद आपके लिए ये समझ पाना डिफ़िकल्ट हो कि कोई इंसान इतने मिसट्रीटमेंट से गुजरने के बाद भी उनके साथ कैसे रह सकता है या उनके लिए प्यार, कंसर्न या डिपेंडेंस कैसे फील कर सकता है। While you may not understand it if you have never been in a situation yourself that involves cyclical abuse, it's actually pretty straightforward. The bond forms out of the basic human need for attachment as a means of survival. और वहाँ से an abuse victim may become dependent on their abuser. And it is a cycle in which an abuser promises never to repeat the abuse and gains the victim's trust repeatedly. And you have a complex emotional situation that affects even people who seem very emotionally strong. Signs and symptoms of trauma bonding. The person agrees with the abuser's reasons for treating them badly. They try to cover for the abusive person, argue with or distance themselves from people trying to help, such as friends, family members, or neighbors. They become defensive or hostile if someone intervenes and attempts to stop the abuse, such as जो रास्ते में खड़े लोग होते हैं या कोई पुलिस ऑफिसर हो गया. They may be reluctant or unwilling to take steps to leave the abusive situation or break the bond. How can you break a trauma bond? Breaking a trauma bond can be challenging and may take time, but it is possible. Here are some ways. Focus on the present. Hope that an abusive person will change, or nostalgia for good times in the past can keep people in their trauma bonds. Try to acknowledge कि अभी क्या हो रहा है and the impact that it has by pausing to reflect. If it is safe to do so, please keep a diary. Focus on the evidence. If a person continues to abuse or takes no steps to get help, stay focused on this rather than on their promises about the future. Practice self-talk. Abuse can lower a person's self-esteem and make them feel that they cannot be without the abusive person. Noticing negative self-talk and challenging with positive alternatives can start to change this. Practice self-care. Taking care of oneself may help relieve some stress and reduce the desire to turn to an abusive person for comfort. Journaling, meditation, exercise, hobbies, or talking to our trusted friends can help. इसके अलावा सेफ्टी प्लानिंग इज इम्पॉर्टेंट। सेफ्टी प्लानिंग का मतलब होता है जब आप पर्सनलाइज स्टेप्स लेते हो ताकि एक इंडिविजुअल अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट कर सके फिजिकली और इमोशनली। दिस प्लान में इंक्लूड सेफ प्लेसेस where someone can go to protect themselves, children or pets from violence, names and contact of information for people who provide support, information about local organizations and services, a way to get evidence of the abuse such as a journal with events and dates that keeps a person in a safe place, a plan to leave considering factors such as money, a safe place to live and work, a plan for staying safe after leaving, which may include changing locks, phone numbers, altering working hours, and also pursuing legal action. ट्रॉमा बॉन्ड को ब्रेक करना और उससे रिकवर करना काफ़ी लंबा और डिफ़िकल्ट प्रोसेस होता है, लेकिन ये नामुमकिन नहीं है। अगर ट्रस्टेड फैमिली मेम्बर्स, फ्रेंड्स या दूसरे सर्वाइवर्स या काउंसलर हो और थेरेपिस्ट हो, इन सब के मदद से कोई भी इंसान ट्रॉमा बॉन्ड से बाहर भी निकल सकता है और उससे रिकवर भी कर सकता है। माइंड ओवर मैटर का अगर ये एपिसोड आपको अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज़ इस वीडियो को लाइक और शेयर करें और हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें। हमें हमारे सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स पे भी फॉलो करें।